So start the Princess Leia dress by getting a plain white turtleneck.
So you want to make sure that the bottom of your turtleneck sits at your natural waist. If it's too long, just cut a few inches off the bottom so that it sits where it should, on your natural waist. So then just measure the width of the bottom of the turtleneck, in this case is 20 inches, and then fold that measurement in half, which will of course give me 10 inches, and then you add an inch, which will give me 11 inches.
Then get some plain white knit material that'll match the fabric of the turtleneck pretty well. And then out of that knit material, you're going to cut 4 pieces shaped like this. Basically, it's kind of almost triangular with a flat top and a slightly rounded bottom. And so the smaller side of it is going to be that mark that you just measured, in my case the 11 inches, and the bottom part of it is going to be double that, so in my case 22 inches, and the height of it is going to be from the bottom. You're going to take a measurement from the bottom of the turtleneck down to your ankle, and that's going to be the length of each of your panels. So you want to cut 4 of those. So here's basically what the panels should look like. And if you find the material is too thin, you can always double up the panels to make it thicker. And so next you'll sew the sides of each of the panels together to turn them all into one skirt. So then here is the skirt with the panels all sewn together. And you want to pick one of the flat panels to put in the front because hers actually doesn't have any seams, but since this one does, you're just going to use one of the flat panels to put in the front. And then you'll just sew the skirt onto the bottom of your turtleneck. And so when you sew it together, you're going to want to use a zigzag stitch because that will allow it to remain stretchy. And so then this is what you should have so far, just a loose white turtleneck dress. And the one that I'm making is going to be for someone for Halloween, so I'm not going to do the slits in the side, but Leia does have slits that are about a foot and a half up on each side. And so then of course the sleeves on the turtleneck are far too tight to look like Leia's, so
You're just going to cut those off at the shoulder seams. And so then you'll take one of those sleeves that you just cut off and you're going to use that as a base for the sleeve pattern. You want to lay it down so that the longer part of the sleeve is on the fold of your material. You want to fold your material in half and lay the longer part of that right on the fold. And so then you'll follow the curve of the actual sleeve, but once you get to the bottom of it, instead of going tight like the real sleeve, you're just going to spread it out so it's at least a foot long at the end of it. And then lay the sleeve you just cut down in your material and trace that one exactly, cutting out an exact copy.
And so then if you cut them on the fold, the top should be the fold, and then you'll sew the bottom line together and then sew the sleeve to the turtleneck, right where the other sleeve came off. And so then here we have the dress with the proper shaped sleeves. So then finally for the hood, you'll just cut a long rectangle. Mine is about 3 feet long and a little over a foot wide. And then you're just going to fold the ends over each other. Sew one of the long sides together, and leave the other 2 sides open, and then sew the short sides to the collar of the dress. So then here's the top of the hood. You want to make sure that you sew it at the bottom of the collar. This is mine when it's sewn on. And of course it only goes halfway around the collar, so in order to do that, because the hood is so big, you'll have to put little gathers in it in order to sew it only halfway around the collar. That way you don't see it from the front, you only see it from the back, and it usually should trail about halfway down your back.
And so then here's what the finished costume looks like from the front, and there you can see the hood trailing down the back. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.